Democratic 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang poll, Sanders takes lead in Iowa less than a month before vote. Bloomberg releases plan to shore up voting rights. Election security. Pelosi announced as lead guest on season premiere of Real Time with Bill Maher More is calling for a place in Tuesday's primary debate, saying polls show voters want him to participate even if they haven't committed to supporting him yet.
Yang, a former tech entrepreneur, did not meet polling thresholds to take part in the Iowa debate, the final one before the state's caucuses early next month.
He claims the lack of polls conducted since the previous debate gave little hope for him to advance.
Yang, the only candidate of color who made the last debate, unsuccessfully asked Democratic National Committee (DNC) Chairman Tom Edward Perez Clinton's top 5 vice presidential picks: government social programs, triumph of hope over evidence, labor's wasteful spending and mismanagement at workers' comp, more to commission more polling to make up for a lack of surveys over the holidays.
If the DNC had only done their due diligence and commissioned polls in the early states, Andrew Yang would certainly be on the debate stage next week. "We are not going to allow the DNC to dictate who they wish to see as the nominee and deny the will of the people," Champaign Chief Nick Ryan said in a Saturday email to supporters.
The email said that after the DNC refused Yang's request, he commissioned his own polling by companies the Democratic Party has used before.
The unbiased feedback showed that Andrew Yang is on the rise and at 5% in Nevada and New Hampshire, the email said.
"The issues that will decide this election, and the future of our country, are too important to ignore for the sake of staged political bickering. The DNC tried to run this same play in 2016 and they paid for it with a loss in the general," Ryan said.
6 of the 13 Democratic White House candidates are set to take the stage in Ames, Iowa. Former Vice President Joe Biden Klobuchar releases names of bundlers poll. Sanders takes lead in Iowa less than a month before vote. Incumbency's advantage could trump Democrats in 2020. More. Former South Bend, Indiana, Mayor Pete Paul Buttigieg Klobuchar releases names of bundlers poll. Sanders takes lead in Iowa less than a month before vote. Mandy Moore to join Buttigieg on campaign trail in Iowa. More. Senator Amy Jean Klobuchar releases names of bundlers poll. Sanders takes lead in Iowa less than a month before vote. Impeachment trial weighs on 2020 Democrats. More. D-Min. Senator Bernie Sanders Hill, TV's Sagar Enjeti, woke cultural left could complicate Sanders's economic message. Klobuchar releases names of bundlers on the money. Economy adds 145K jobs, meeting expectations. Dow briefly surpasses 29,000 for first time. Poll finds majority-backed tax hike for richest Americans. More. IVT. Businessman Tom Farr Steyer Hill, TV's Crystal Ball on Steyer. We can do better than billionaires. Overnight energy. House passes sweeping bill on forever chemicals. Green groups question Pentagon about burning of toxic chemicals. Steyer plan would open U.S. to climate refugees. Steyer unveils proposal to make climate change refugees eligible for legal U.S. entry. More. And Senator Elizabeth Ann Warren Hill, TV's Sagar Enjeti, woke cultural left could complicate Sanders's economic message. Klobuchar releases names of bundlers on the money. Economy adds 145K jobs, meeting expectations. Dow briefly surpasses 29,000 for first time. Poll finds majority-backed tax hike for richest Americans. More. D. Mass.